Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about my journey into online training and how I got started. So let's get right into it. So before I even thought about anything to do with online training, the first step in my journey was becoming a good in-person coach. So I actually started coaching at the age of 10 years old after doing some volunteer work at an academy that I went to. It's called the Game On Initiative program, where we helped underprivileged communities in the Washington, D.C. area. So I got a taste for helping others pretty early on, and I really liked it. So when I was 10, I co-founded a tennis lesson business in Arlington, Virginia, where I started giving lessons to really little kids like 5 and 6 year olds, and then eventually branched out to also serve the parents as well after they liked the results they were getting. They liked the experience. So after that, kind of put that on pause when I was 16 to focus on my own game for the next 2 years to hopefully go play D1. Did that, played D1 while I was in college, went on to coach at IMG Academy. Then from there, was mentored by Nick Bollettieri at the IMG Academy. And then I had the opportunity after college to be mentored by Rick Macy in Boca Raton, Florida. So spent 2 years coaching there. And within 6 months, I went from just being a hitting partner with literally no lessons to being fully booked out at the 160 rate per hour, and then eventually being promoted to be a director, and then upping my private lesson rate to over $200 per hour there. So the first step was maxing out the capabilities of in person and actually becoming a good coach in person and delivering good results, right? Then from there, I kind of went into a wall, right? Of like, okay, I was 21 years old, 22, and it was like, okay, I'm 21 and I fully maxed out the in-person capabilities, right? Like I was charging, about $200 per hour at the time, and it was like, okay, well, I'm fully booked out now, doing like 12 hours a day on court, which is great, which is awesome, but I could see the writing on the wall, how I didn't want to be doing that for the rest of my life, right? Like 40 years from now, I didn't want to be spending 12 hours a day on courts. I love tennis, I love coaching, I love helping my players, but the business that I want to build for myself, like my dream business, doesn't have me reliant on being on court for 12 hours a day. So once I realized that, I was like, okay, how can I start getting into the online space? I love tennis and I knew I wanted to get into content in some capacity, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get into it. So started doing some research and I thought I wanted to create a course. That was like the first step that I took in my journey was like, okay, I have this knowledge about coaching tennis and I've been getting good results for my students in person, but how can I package up my ideas and be able to monetize that in some way, right? And help somebody. So the first vehicle that I looked into was developing a course, right? And I ended up not going with that path and I ended up going towards the online coaching route because I realized something. I saw a particular statistic that said something like a very small percent of people who enroll into courses even complete them fully, right? So for me, my perspective was with anything I do, it's to help serious tournament players get better results and achieve their goals, achieve their dreams. So I knew, okay, well, if there's something that people aren't going to be completing, I don't want that model. I don't want that vehicle. And I also realized players, they need expert support if they want to optimize everything within their game, right? They need the expert to support them. So that's different than having the expert only record some videos and then give them some random videos. So I knew what I wanted for my students had to be more custom. So through a lot of research, um, I figured out that through a lot of research, I figured out that I wanted to go into the online coaching space and sell high ticket programs so that I can offer very custom programs for people and actually deliver an insane transformation, right? When people are offering, 20 bucks a month for unlimited, all these videos and stuff, when they're offering it at such a low price point, it's like you get what you pay for, right? You might be getting great information, but is the information specific to you and what you need to apply for your own game? And do you have an expert applying that information onto your training plans, onto the support, right? Giving you one-on-one help. So for me, I knew that the vision that I had for my business and for my program, what ended up becoming my program, was something that was custom and something that I needed a vehicle that I could offer the support that I was missing when I was in high school, where my family was investing, a ton of money into, big name academies, but I wasn't getting the individual attention that I felt like I deserved because I wasn't the most talented player out there. There were a bunch of players who were more talented who would get more attention. So there's a lot of these athletes who fall in the cracks of the academy model who don't get that attention. And that was a market that I knew I personally fell into, like as a player earlier on. So that's kind of the mindset that I had when developing my program. And there's a saying out there which is you're best suited to serve your past self. And with that, that's how you can start developing like your specific program, right? So that's what got me kind of into the online space. And that's how I started to problem solve like, okay, what's the best vehicle to support my athletes and to support my goals for going online and starting with social media. So I invested into a lot of programs to learn kind of the skill sets and really just learn higher level business strategy of how to package things up and how to deliver it in the best way possible. And I ended up creating my UTR Accelerator program, which now I've transitioned into the Racket Accelerator program to serve more athletes now. And it's not just me now helping athletes. So yeah, that's kind of like the journey that we've taken so far. And the main thing was I had a lot of athletes that I was helping in person that I was already getting incredible results for, right? Doing lessons with athletes, some of them 1 to 2 times per week, some of them every day, right? And that depends kind of on the family. But I knew that what about the other days that they don't see me in our lessons, where they don't have an hour or two of my time booked out to see me? I knew there was a way to solve that problem where we could give individual support to athletes in a way that is custom for them and can give them support on the days where they don't have to pay for private lessons, right? And most people, when they think about online training, they think about like Zoom calls and like, okay, well, can I pay you for an hour of your time to get on a Zoom call? But that's a flawed model because as a coach, you're doing the same thing as just selling your time in person, but now you're just sitting behind a desk, right? So you don't want to get in that trap either. So that's why when I developed my program, I never did that. I never just sold Zoom lessons, right? And that's where most coaches mess up, is they are a little short-sighted with kind of getting a quick pay for like an hour lesson or whatever for a Zoom lesson, but you're not really building a business. You're not really building any systems there. You're just getting on, you're talking for an hour, and you're getting off, right? So for me, I wanted to not only build the business that like I want to run, right, and fuel that, but I wanted it to be the best thing possible for my athletes and for my students. So I wanted to be able to offer custom training plans for my athletes so they have a clear action plan on what to do every single day, right? And if you think about online training in the most simple way, that's what you should do. If you're trying to get started, it's like give them exactly what you would program for them every single day. If you could see them every single day for however many hours they needed, right? Just program literally every single thing that they would need to do. And then you can modify and prioritize based on like how much time they have, what resources they have to work with. Do they have a hitting partner? Do they have a bucket of balls? Like what do they work? Do they have a something that feeds them balls, right? Like a ball machine, like what are they working with? And then you can program and customize for them based on what they have access to and their resources, okay? But at the start, just program for them 100% custom. And yeah, that's kind of my journey into the online space. And then I had to kind of go through trial, error, figure out what works, what didn't work, figure out how to run ads, how to post content organically as well. And yeah, so the main thing was I didn't really realize how simple online training was if you have kind of a clear step-by-step kind of plan to get there. But when I was coming into the space, there was nobody helping tennis coaches specifically or racket sport coaches specifically. It was everything a lot more general, purely business, right? Or something that wasn't specific to tennis coaches. So I figured once I problem solved it for my own business, then I wanted to branch out and also help others do that as well, because it's been transformational for me in my journey. And I was able to literally buy a house from selling online programs. So it's something that I know there's a lot of other coaches out there who can impact so many more players as well. So now that's why we're expanding to also help other coaches as well within our Racket Accelerator program. So that's basically my journey from going purely in person to transitioning online. And it all started from being first a good in-person coach, right? And getting a solid clientele base in person. And then we branched out online and then just had certain goals to hit. And then once I hit those, was able to fully branch out to going fully online. So that's just kind of my quick story of how I got into the online side of things, how I transitioned, how I took that leap. And yeah, hope that helps. So drop a like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, look out for more videos. See you in the next one.